Do you really need a heater in your camper van? There is one big reason why you might not, but that won't apply to everybody. Does that reason apply to you? You can let me know later when I tell you what it is. Is there an alternative to a heater that could actually save you money in your house as well? No diesel heater, no gas heater, no fan heater, and no wood burning stoves. We can keep with the wood burning stoves to outside. As much as I love my solo stove, it's certainly not for indoor use. Not everyone has a heater in the van, and not everybody wants one either. But there are a few people now who will, now the temperatures are dropping, will be looking to buy a heater. With a small camper van like the Transporter, and the fact that most are well insulated until you open the big hole in the roof, do you really need a heater? In terms of diesel and gas heaters, prices vary drastically, as does the quality and the efficiency. It's a subject that can attract some really strong opinions from both ends of the users, from the cheap ones and also the premium ones. An argument for another day perhaps. In fact, I might actually be talking about that subject in a video coming very soon. With a decent heater and good insulation, and not only just in the panels but also the windows and the pop top as well, your camper van will be really nice and toasty very quickly. And regarding the windows, I highly recommend an insulated external windscreen cover. Several brands make them, and just be careful that they are properly insulated. If you buy a good one, you'll even have a cooler van in the summer as well. There are pros and cons to both the external and the internal ones, but the choice is entirely up to you. Which is the best? Actually, it's to use both, but it is personal preference. But there I go again, completely off on a tangent. The point is, you do not need a heater in your camper van. And here I am, sat in my Isabella awning on a cold evening, not freezing, but you might be able to see my breath. The temperatures are down to single figures. A big clue here is to why you don't actually need one. Anyway, I actually know somebody who lives full time in a camper van without a heater, and that van is currently covered in snow in a climate much different to the one which we're living in here in the UK. They live in the state of Utah, Salt Lake City area. You've probably heard of it because the Winter Olympics have been held there a few times. Well, the point is, it's cold, very cold and snowy, yet they don't have a heater. But back to that in a moment. And if they don't need a heater, then nor do we. So let's have a look at some of the options and also what I will be using. I've bought something new and I'm going to be testing it out tonight. And it isn't just a case of me having a nice cup of tea out of my Yeti cup, but that is a way of obviously keeping yourselves warm. The principle of some of these being is heat the human and not the home, or the camper van in this particular situation. Layers are a good start, base, mid and top layers perhaps. Each person will have their own preferences and what they're also comfortable in. Warm socks are a good idea, and here I have the Stan socks. Got these, had these for quite a while now, and they're absolutely brilliant. I absolutely love them. Got a few pairs, and I do tend to wear them when the weather gets a bit cooler. I might actually be wearing these tomorrow. So socks for one extremity and a hat for another. Whether it's true about the heat loss percentage through the head or not, a hat definitely does make me feel a lot warmer, and I often wear one on my early morning walks with Lottie, and again, probably going to be wearing one of those tomorrow. To be honest though, I never sleep in one, and nor do I actually wear a lot of clothes when I'm sleeping either. We're all completely different. To add to the layers though, and something which I know that some other people use, is an electric heated gilet. Not for me, but some people do it. In fact, I did think about it the other week when I was at the football and was absolutely Baltic cold. People do it, but it's not something I would particularly sleep in. I think the power bank would probably irritate me. But a common thing to use is a hot water bottle, and these can often be used, and my daughter uses one herself, but they don't last all night. They're generally warm to start with, and they will obviously warm you up before you go to bed. But when the temperatures have dropped, especially in those early hours, it's going to be cold, so that's not really going to be particularly helping you in those early hours. But getting closer to what I have tonight, and that's an electric blanket. Earlier this year, I spent several days with the Slidepods van, and I think I mentioned it then that it didn't have a diesel heater, and that's because the owner heats himself, and he does that with an electric blanket. And this is exactly that's something that can be used at home. To be honest, I've never used one, but several people have told me that they are really good for warming you in bed and even during the day when it's really, really chilly. Now, regarding blankets, long-time viewers of the channel will have seen this before, and this is the Sherpa blanket. This is mine from Passenger, and it's got so many different uses. I've used it lots of different times for lots of different purposes, sleeping in, during the day generally on the grass, been down to the beach in it, keeping myself warm in it there, and it's just absolutely brilliant. I really do like that, and could potentially sleep in that at night as well, because it is such a warm thing. Sometimes if I actually put it on inside the house, I've got to take it off because it's just too warm. I think on a night like tonight it could be ideal to be having that. It's probably not as warm, however, as my latest purchase. I will let you know tomorrow, well, in YouTube time, it's actually going to be a couple of minutes, exactly what it's like. But this is the Vango Radiate, and it's a 3-season sleeping bag, or duvet, because this is a double, but it can be separated out into 2 singles. It's a 3-season sleeping bag, and with it being a 3-season sleeping bag, it's going to be pretty warm anyway. But this is, as the name Radiate would suggest, it is a heated sleeping bag. So slightly different take on the heated blanket. Now, I know Vango have a range of these products for the Radiate range, and I've used the heated chair before, and I thought it was actually pretty good. Anyway, this can be powered by a power bank. However, another product which I've been using for quite a while now is a small Bluetti AC50B, and it's much smaller and lighter than the others which I have, and I'm going to be showing you more on that soon. It's practical in many other ways than the bigger capacity ones. So tonight, I'm not actually going to be sleeping in the van, and that is for a very good reason, a reason which I will explain tomorrow in a couple of minutes. I have this little sleeping pod inside my Isabella awning, and I'm going to be sleeping inside my Vango sleeping bag with a self-inflating mattress, which is this, and look how small that is. It's absolutely tiny. It takes up absolutely no space at all. So that's going to unfold, and it's going to provide me just a bit of comfort off the actual floor as well. So let me get set up, have a sleep, and I'll let you know exactly why I'm in this and not my van very soon. So night night, I shall see you in the morning. Well, good morning. It's certainly pretty fresh outside. I wasn't actually expecting it to be this cold this morning, but how was it in here during the night? Well, to be perfectly honest with you, it was pretty toasty. This sleeping bag is really kind of nice, soft and comfortable and warm, even without the heated elements. It is a really, really warm sleeping bag. Like I've said, it's 3-season, so it is going to do its job. But I'm not really here to be reviewing the sleeping bag. I'm just saying that I'm happy with it. Maybe I will talk about it more in the future, and maybe I'll take it actually somewhere in much colder, maybe on the moors when it's snowing, because it is actually meant to be snowing in the next few weeks. Anyway, back to the heater topic. And a big reason why we perhaps don't need one will come from why we do what we do. Our campervan lifestyle may well have progressed from our love of the great outdoors, the outdoor lifestyle, experiencing the fresh air and being close to nature. Perhaps we started off in a tent and progressed to a campervan, a motorhome or caravan as when we were able to. I know I did. I was in the Cubs and then the Scouts, and I used to camp a lot. I used to absolutely love it, and I carried that on through my adult life. It's still great to do now. I really do enjoy doing it. As other opportunities became available though, we take these, and the ability to buy a van and add creature comforts is a decision that some people make. I mentioned those living in the freezing wintry conditions in Utah, but didn't have a heater. Well, as of this year, they've decided to upgrade the van, and this year it will have a heater. Whether we've opted to use a full campervan and full electrics, indoor cooking facilities, fridge and a heating system or not, it doesn't take away from the fact that when we were only in a tent, or even as some people do, just a tarp for a shelter, we didn't have a heater. We just used to use appropriate sleeping bags for the conditions. We used to put on extra clothes and maybe use a hot water bottle. Don't let not having a heater in your van prevent you from having the adventures outside in the cooler months. I personally quite like that feeling of the cold air when I'm wrapped up, nice, warm and cosy. Upgrade your sleeping bag, wear some more clothes, but just make sure that you enjoy life while you can. All that said, when I upgrade my new camper van, will I be going for a heating system? Yes, because it's really nice to return to a nice warm van when you've been out in the cold. Combine a heater with a warm shower and there will be no excuse for not adventuring out in the winter. It's not necessary, but it does make things more comfortable experience. A heater also helps with damp and mould. Coupled with ventilation, you will have a much nicer atmosphere. So although you could just wrap up nice and warm in home and save money on your heating, it is quite useful to at least put your heating system on a low heat. Try and avoid making winter mistakes, and there are 10 here, with a huge one that far too many people are making. Thanks for watching, take care, and I hope to see you soon.